Welcome. I'm Bill Fung, your local Denver realtor, and I have here Patrick Langhans. We're going to be talking with Cross Country Mortgage.
Yep.
We'll be talking about different loans it's kind of like a four-part series. We'll be talking about FHA loans, VA loans, jumbos, and conventionals. In this particular episode, we're going to go ahead and talk about VA loans.
I'm Patrick Langhans with Cross Country Mortgage. Yeah, I've been doing loans 24 years. I've been in the business. I've been in it a long time, and just throughout that time, I think we've helped over 3,000 families with their mortgage, whether it's buying or refinancing. So I'm doing it a long time.
Good, wonderful. So I'm going to ask Patrick, what are the little hidden secrets of VA that people don't know, and what are the typical pitfalls that can be avoided if you understand what you should do when you're going for a VA loan? So go ahead.
Yeah, so VA loans are by far one of my favorite loans to do, not only because it helps veterans, but they're actually really, really, really good deals. Probably one of the most cost-effective loan programs out there. So they're awesome. The catch is you have to be a veteran or military, active duty, something to that extent. So it's not like, USAA where grandpa was in the military and you can get, an account with USAA. It has to be the veteran on the loan to do a VA loan. So that's probably the biggest catch.
Can you be in like a National Guard?
You can. National Guard and Reserves have a little bit more requirements as far as how long they've been in or how much active duty or deployment they've had. But yes, you can.
So even that, and maybe people don't realize that, they figured they had to be in the military, and I'm going to mess this up, like being in the Air Force or being in the Army, that type of stuff. So being in the National Guard and the Reserves still entitles you to a VA loan.
Yeah, a little bit more time, usually about 4 more years of service, or deployment.
And I think that's one of the things that people didn't realize about VA loans, unless someone else told them about it. What else can you tell us that could be like the hidden secret of VA loans people don't know, or what are some of the pitfalls that people fall into, and if they knew about them, it wouldn't make getting the loan more difficult than necessary?
Yeah, so the best things about VA loan, one, no down payment requirement. Okay. So you could buy a home with no down payment whatsoever, and then right now a lot of our veterans that we're working with, they're buying a home with no down payment, and then the seller of the house is paying all their closing costs. So literally they are buying a home with no money out of pocket. So that's the best part. Another best part is VA interest rates are typically lower than other types of loans. Okay, so you're going to save a little money there. And then third best part is on most loans out there, if you don't put 20% down, you're going to have an extra monthly fee that you pay called mortgage insurance or PMI. And that's just an extra fee to the bank saying, hey, you need to pay for this extra insurance because you're not making a down payment. But on VA, doesn't matter how much you put down, you do not have mortgage insurance. So you could buy a home, no money down, no closing costs, lower interest rate, and no mortgage insurance. Okay. And I would say those are the top big reasons why they're awesome, and I love VA loans, and they provide a lot of savings for our veterans.
Okay, so I'm going to try to put it into a specific example. Let's say you were buying a $500,000 property, and you are a veteran, but let's say you didn't realize it initially that there were these type of benefits. So you were going to go get an FHA loan.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, an FHA loan, you need minimum 3% or 3.5%?
3.5% down payment. So you're
Okay.
talking about 17 grand.
Well, okay, and then there's also the loan closing fees, which I'm going to say average maybe 2% of
Yeah.
what.
So there's 10 grand.
So on there. So again, so let's make it easy. If you were getting an FHA loan, if you took say like 5% and multiplied it by 500, then you would need about $25,000
Yeah.
to get into it.
Yeah.
Whereas with a VA loan, you don't need 25,000.
Yeah,
You can
zero.
get in for $0.
Yeah.
You might have to throw in a penny, but I understand they're actually going to get rid of the penny, so you won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Anything. All right, so that's really good to know. I mean, that is a significant amount of savings on that. Tell me a little bit about
Pitfalls.
Pitfalls. I'm also curious about what a appraisal is and how that works. Is there any cost to the veteran to have to pay for an appraisal? Just in general, go ahead.
Yep. So probably the biggest pitfall I see, well, I wouldn't say the biggest, but so there's a few. But one I see a lot is with VA, if you do a VA loan and you receive VA disability income from your time in service, you get even more reduced costs, okay? And it could be pretty significant reduced costs. One of the pitfalls I see is the veteran, when I'm talking to them and I ask them, I say, hey, are you receiving any VA disability income? They say, no, I should be, but I haven't done all the paperwork. So I'd say the biggest pitfall would be if you're thinking of buying a home, if you're a veteran and you're thinking of buying a home anytime in the next year or two, buckle down and get that disability paperwork done so you can start getting that income, and then it's going to significantly reduce your costs. Okay?
Okay.
So that's the first one. The second one I would say is there are a lot of companies out there that will throw veteran and mortgage in their name. So a lot of lenders will say they're veteran whatever mortgage. Most of these companies are just marketing to veterans, but the people that are working on the loans are not always experts. Okay, so I'd say a pitfall would be going online and Googling veteran VA loans. So you want to work with someone local like me, just because VA, there are a lot of pitfalls that some of the more inexperienced online companies will miss. Okay, so I'd say second pitfall would be working with an online lender. Appraisals, there is a misconception out there that VA appraisals are, come in low value and are a lot harder to get approved. That is a misconception. If I were to order a VA appraisal, an FHA appraisal, and a conventional appraisal from the same appraiser, the value would all come in the same. Okay? What VA does look at with a VA appraisal is visible health, safety, or structural issues. So if the appraiser, that's the person that determines the value of the home, we order that after they go under contract, they go out to the home, and if that appraiser's walking through the home and they can visibly see a health issue like mold, a safety issue like a broken window, or a structural issue like the grating or crack in the basement, they would call that out, whereas a conventional loan may be able to get by without repairing that.
Okay. So you're talking about potential problems with houses. What type of property can you buy with VA loans? Can you of course, I'm thinking you can buy townhomes, condos, and single family homes.
Yeah.
Can you buy what I call multiplexes, more than one? Can you buy, I'm going to say farmland, but I mean like a house that's on acreage of 5, 10, 20 acres.
Yep.
Are there any particular types of properties or situations where you cannot do a VA loan?
It just has to be real residential housing,
Okay.
4 units or less.
Okay.
So you couldn't buy a tiny home that's on land that you could move. You can buy a manufactured home, which is kind of like a mobile home or a trailer, but that's permanently fixed to the ground. So you could buy that, but you couldn't buy one that's like on a
just sitting on the piece of land without a foundation.
Right, like a yurt. You couldn't buy a yurt, if you know what a yurt is.
A yurt. Okay.
Or a barn dominium. Like
okay.
it has to be your, manufactured's okay as long as it's attached to a permanent foundation. Single family, condo, townhome. It can be multiple units as long as it's 4 or less.
So let's see what other type of things that we can go ahead and talk about. Since there is no minimum down payments or anything like that, and we didn't talk about it in the other loans, we don't have to worry about any type of gift funds or getting anything like that, correct?
No, you might need a little bit of money. Usually when you buy a home, you write a check when you find the home, you negotiate with the seller, now you're under contract, okay, I'm going to buy you a home.
Okay.
You may need a little money for the earnest money.
Okay.
And that's just that upfront good faith deposit you make.
Okay.
That could come from a gift, but
Okay.
it's usually 1 to 2%. I mean, you know all this. It's usually 1 to 2% of the price of the home.
Right.
But the cool thing is with VA, let's say you buy a $500,000 home, you write a $5,000 earnest money check, no down payment, seller paying all closing costs. When you go to the closing table, you actually get that $5,000 check back.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. If there was, for some unknown reason, I didn't mention this because there's so many different little nuances, but if you are getting some type of earnest money or a gift fund of some sort, does there have to be a paper trail?
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we would need something from the donor, usually a family member, showing that they had the money to give you and that they transferred it to you.
Okay.
And then they signed a gift letter saying you don't have to pay it back.
Okay. Now, can you refinance a VA loan when the interest rate drops?
Yeah. So VA loans have one of the best refinances in the world too. Okay. It's called a interest rate reduction loan, or an IRL is what we'll call it.
Okay.
But it's a very streamlined process. When you get a mortgage, it doesn't really matter whether it's a VA, FHA, conventional, jumbo. You're going to verify 3 things: your income, your credit, your money, and then there's one more, the appraisal, so the property. So basically, you got to clear 4 things to make sure that that loan's going to work. Well, with a VA refinance, there's almost nothing.
Okay.
So we don't have to do an appraisal. Okay, we don't have to verify your income. We don't have to re-pull your credit. We just need to make sure that you're saving a certain amount of money. Now, that's a general way we can do it. But that's if you're just dropping the rate. Okay. You can also do VA refinances, where you get cash out from your home. Those we would have to verify a little bit more, including an appraisal. But if you're just dropping the rate on a VA refinance, they're super, super, super easy. Okay. And the nice part about that is, we can't always guarantee that your property value will never dip a little. It's kind of like up, down, up, down, up, down, and in the long run, up. So if your property value dipped a little and you're trying to refinance on most other programs, it may be tough. But on VA, no, you can get that lower rate.
Wow. Okay. Well, pretty good. Well, again, we're talking about VA loans. There's many little nuances, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a feel about that. One of the things, and I think most veterans understand this, but to get a VA loan, is there a specific piece of paper you need right up front?
Yep. So if you're active duty, we need a letter from your commanding officer, and if you are honorably discharged. We need your DD-214. They'll all know what that is. When we get those things, we get your certificate of eligibility from the VA. I will say that in the certificate of eligibility just says, yes, you can get a VA loan. It tells us whether you have any outstanding VA loans currently. It tells us whether you get that VA disability income as well. Mm-hmm. And a lot of veterans think they should get it before they talk to us. Don't do that. We can get it really easy for free.
The DD-214.
Well, the DD-214 is kind of like their discharge.
They have to get that.
They have to get that.
Okay.
I mean, we can help them get that too, but most of the time it's easier if they come with that.
Okay.
But yeah, we could get a certificate of eligibility to tell them whether they're eligible when they apply with us.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing I mentioned, we look to see if you have another VA loan on that certificate of eligibility. There's a big misconception out there that you can't have more than 2 VA loans, or more than one.
Okay.
So you, but that's actually not true. So you can buy multiple homes with VA. The first one you buy, you probably don't need any money down payment. The second one, if you still have a VA loan, you might need some down payment.
Okay.
It's probably still less than most other programs, but you will probably need a little bit of down payment at that point.
So then, which brings to mind that if you have somebody, and I talked about it in some of our other interviews, that if you have somebody who would like to start to become a real estate investor and want to get into a house basically with no money down, go the VA loan, and then unlike FHA, you can go ahead and buy a second house and turn the first house into a rental.
Yep.
Okay. Again, a lot of stuff. For more information, you'll want to talk to Patrick. Let's go ahead and call this one quits for the moment because, like I said, with loans, there's a lot of stuff, and we just want to give you an idea of a little bit of some of the ins and outs of VA loan. And again, I'm Bill Fung, your local Denver realtor, and this is Patrick Langhans, and with Cross Country Mortgage.
Yep.
He's been around for 20 plus years. I've been around for, almost 34 plus years. So if we can help you, please feel free to give us a call. Our contact information will be down below, or we'll flash it on the video. If you have any questions, please call, text, or email. Puts a comment in there and we'll respond. I'll have Patrick go ahead and give you his phone number now.
Yeah, 303-303-209-7812.
Okay. And again, thank you. We will have a series of 4, and as they go up on the internet, we'll be posting the other video links there, so you can go look at them, whether they be VA, FHA, conventional, or jumbo. So for right now, again, thank you for listening to this, and have a wonderful day. Bill Fung. Bye now.